Welcome back to Criticalism, ladies and gents, where we tackle indie films and home releases, as well as spotlight other critics you might be missing. I'm Matt Rowe, as you know, and if you like what we do here, make sure you give us some thumbs up, ding the subscription bell, and stick around to the end where I'll be reading and responding to recent comments. I don't have any published reviews this week, but I do have a couple Letterboxd hot takes that I can read for y'all. After watching Ad Astra, the new James Gray film starring Brad Pitt, I wrote, "Many phenomenal visuals and some competent acting from a stellar cast, but too many throwaway subplots with overly vague motivations, a musical score a bit too overbearing, a highly anticlimactic conclusion, and the least consequential Liv Tyler role I have ever seen. That was an easy paycheck." While it does have many redeemable qualities, it didn't quite hit the mark for me, and the movie ended up being disappointing because it could have taken all of its concepts way further. And because everyone else is talking about it too after watching Joker, I wrote, "Strong performance by Phoenix, phenomenal cinematography, refreshing ambiguous tone, and a fun soundtrack. Societal focus was muddled and underutilized, several continuity issues, inconsistent character tropes, completely useless epilogue. Not a masterwork, not a wreck. Not nearly as genre or envelope pushing as it could have been, but not nearly as bad as some critics have declared. It's worth a rental, and it's not absolutely necessary you need to see it in the theater." That's it for me, my dudes. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, the link is in the description below, but let's jump into the public sphere and take a look at some other critics. First, we scoot over to The Lamb and take a look at Tony Kogan's regular series, Director's Chair. The series highlights specific directors every month, documenting notable works and having conversations with commenters and associated bloggers and critics on how their films rank when viewing their whole filmographies. They've chosen William Friedkin for this month, so get on over and join the convo. Oh, and for the record, Killer Joe is the scariest film Friedkin has yet produced, and I'll gladly fight for its trashy honor. Link beneath me. Shuffling on over to YouTube, we're bringing back someone we've already spotlit on the show, but they've produced a video that's perfect for the Halloween season. Stylus Substance produced the video 10 horror films you probably haven't seen. The 30-plus minute video navigates a slate of forgotten and underappreciated horror films, with a few on there that I'm excited that they included because they really should be seen and discussed further. I won't spoil the list any more than my selected clip has already done so, but I personally recommend numbers 10, 7, and 4. So head on over and let Style know what you think of their breakdown. And since it is the season for the scary, we'll keep the freight train moving with the channel Screened. Considering this channel has over 163,000 subscribers, my shout out will do little, but they've just started a new series yesterday titled Elements of Horror, where in this episode they break down the strategic use and effect of screams within horror films. It honestly is something that I haven't thought enough about when approaching horror, so I enjoy how much the video directs its crosshairs at something so specific, and yet makes the entire video feel fresh and educational. Finally, I want to give a shout out to the channel In Frame Out and their spectacular review of Ari Aster's 2019 horror, Midsommar. Now, if you haven't seen the film yet, there's a bunch of spoilers throughout, so you might want to give it a gander before you give this review a watch. But why I bring this up as opposed to the dozens of other reviews out there is his extraordinarily unique approach to appreciating not only Midsommar, but the relation of horror to comedy and how it can strengthen or weaken a work. Great analysis and great execution. All these videos and channels are linked beneath me. And as we wrap up, we got a couple of comments from y'all that we'd like to respond. Rollercoaster Rider wrote on our very first Shitflix episode covering the movie Taint Light, an episode of Seinfeld also had Frolf, and another had Stella being said. Ryder is referring to the Frolf and Streetcar Named Desire references in Taint Light, and yep, I can't really dispute that Seinfeld had either one. I've never actually really watched the show, so I couldn't really say what they had and what they didn't have. And also, honestly, our review was done so long ago that I really don't remember all that I said in it, so if this is in response to anything specific in the review, you gotta let me know. Gasmask DMC wrote on our first part of our Bully film review, Brad Renfro, RIP, heroin overdose. Yeah, he did. Though considering I somewhat derided Renfro's performance in Bully, I can't tell if this is a general rest in peace condolences message or just another subtle jab at telling me how I was wrong. But y'all should really watch my updated review. It is linked below. People are still giving me shit for the first one with the rating system I was trying to use, so in the update, I clarify many of my weaker points at greater length and I think at greater strength. And finally, on our most recent episode of Film Review, Michael Calanello wrote, "Your vocabulary is advanced, good articulation, no stutters, consider yourself a lucky man." Well, Mickey, considering all my words are written out beforehand on scripts, I have that advantage, though every episode of Film Review takes about 3 to 5 hours to make, depending on varying details, and if I look discontrolled in front of the camera, it's only because I have a considerable amount of bad takes preceding it. And that is it, my lovelies. Thank you for staying strong until the end. If you've checked out the movies, the reviews, the others I mentioned, let us know your thoughts in the comments section. All of our socials and Patreon are in the script, and I'll check y'all next week. Until next time.
Made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.